this should be quite an interesting thing. We should be going back in time. We should be going back to the 1940s, hopefully. Now, I did say to myself for the beginning of 2017 that I'm not going to buy any more useless rubbish. However, when this particular item, when I was made aware of this particular item, and I was able to get it for, well, you couldn't even buy a McDonald's meal for what I paid for this. My blade is very, very blunt. Yeah, you couldn't even buy a McDonald's meal for what I paid for this. So I thought to myself, to save a bit of, save a bit of history, what I'll do is I'll just have to get it, and we'll save some history, hopefully, and I can put it in my collection. When I started collecting all this kind of stuff, I did say that I wouldn't. What's all this stuff here? Look, it's good packing. I did say that I wouldn't go overboard, which I haven't, and I usually just collect Kirby's. But this is not a Kirby. This is something very different from a Kirby. My knowledge of vacuum cleaners is very limited, so far this is what we've got. We don't have much yet. There appears to be an old helmet in there. This is a bag with all the dirt coming out. Thanks very much, people. I managed to get this off of some recovering addicts. They were recovering from their addiction, so I took it over from them. Not the addiction, the item. There appears to be an old helmet in there holding it together, obviously. Well, I said to them, when I said, just make sure you pack it well, please. I don't want this piece of history that's nearly 100 years old, being damaged further, because it is quite damaged, and I knew that it was damaged. But like I said, for less than the price of a McDonald's meal, anything's worth a crack, so it just means I'll have to go a little bit longer without having a McDonald's, which is fairly easy because I don't really have many McDonald's. So there you go. Just recently, funnily enough, I've realised how many people on the internet take things far too seriously. I like to help people out whenever I can. I'll help anyone out. I help anyone out that I can help. However, when you help some people, they don't want to know and they get quite upset. I've been trying to help someone. There's a helmet. Looks like that was free, added in. That'll go nicely on the fire. That'll burn quite well on the fire. I'll keep that, put that on the fire later. When you try and help some people, they take it the wrong way completely, and then you just end up with going backwards and forwards, commenting on each other. So whenever there's a new YouTuber that comes up, I always try my best, my utmost best to help. But sometimes it's a little bit difficult when they misunderstand everything what you say. Never mind. Right, so there's the base of this lovely thing. Like I said, it is damaged. We know it's damaged. The Bakelite is somewhat damaged there, but it's supposed to work. This is supposed to work. So we'll have to hope to ourselves, or not necessarily hope, because if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. That's fair enough if it doesn't work. Like I said, it's one McDonald's meal less down, one less unhealthiness inside me, so we're not too worried. But it would be nice if I could save the history. Where's my knife? This is supposed to be the handle and the rest of it. So we'll cut this open with my blunt knife. I must get some new blades. I have some new blades, but amongst all the mess and rubbish that I currently own, I can't find the blades. So let's have a look, see how much damage we actually have. Hopefully they've saved the screws. Yeah, hopefully they did save the screw. Ah, there it is. There's the nut and bolt. That's just what I was hoping. So I can put the handle on, and then we can have a look at it. We can put it all together and turn it on and have a look at some history. We like a bit of history. If you don't like history, then there is literally something wrong with you if you don't like history. You don't necessarily have to think about all the bloody King Edward the 20th or whatever his name was to like history, you know. History is interesting and exciting. Oh dear. Right, to go and get a screwdriver. Put this little screw in the back. Tighten that up nicely. This little screwdriver is a bit too small for this screw here. I'll have to get a bigger one. See what we can find in this chest of screwdrivers. Oh, not my usual choice of screwdriver, but that should do the trick. Do that up nice and tight. Oh, the handle's loose, never mind. Nice! Well, there we go. So let's have a look. Let's put this cable up here. Wow. Very, very, very exciting. There we go. A Hoover model 262. Very good. Very damaged, but that's nothing to worry about, I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm probably never going to find a replacement top for the motor cover, but you know, saving a bit of history. See if we can look at some information for you geeks. The Hoover model 262 cleaner. It's been slightly damaged, we'll fix that. Universal motor, DC or AC. Interesting. 225 to 250 volts, 0 to 60 cycles, 325 watts. You can see the difference in wattage compared to today's motors, even with the stupid EU limit that they bring in at some point, because they're stupid. The wattage back then in the 1940s was considerably less. So, rating 9, made by Hoover Ltd. Then we got all that other crap that comes along with that. Sweet. Now, like I said, my knowledge is very, very, very limited on any vacuum cleaner because I don't particularly like vacuum cleaners. I like old stuff. Now, that just generally means I just get old stuff and then put it in the cupboard and forget about it. But in the last 3 years that I've been dealing with vacuum cleaners, I've picked up some information, and I believe this to be a post-war model, because as far as I know, although a lot of you geeks are going to be telling me otherwise, but as far as I know, because the war halted, well, the production of these Hoovers halted in 1939 as far as I know, because of the war. The ones that were made before then had like a rubber strip, a rubber band going around here or around there. That's what can remember from. I must have read it or heard it somewhere. That's all I know. And the ones that were made after 1939 in the 40s at some point, they didn't have it. They just had this plate on the front. So I believe this to be a 1940s model, not a 1930s model. And I think these ones, these 262s, I think they stopped production in 46, started in 39 and stopped in 46, I believe. Could be very, very wrong. That's just information plucked off the top of my head that I've obviously remembered from somewhere, because that's what happens with me. I read stuff and forget all the very useful stuff, but I tend to retain all the stuff that I would never need to know. But funnily enough, it comes in handy when I come across things like this. So this is what we've got. That's very, very broken on the top there, but it doesn't matter. Well, it kind of does matter to me a little bit, but not hugely, because it's there and everything. That's probably, you know, if I ever come across a new top for it, then I'll obviously get it and we'll repair it, but otherwise I'm not too bothered. It's obviously very, very worn on here, on this pole where the cable rubs on it. This probably isn't the original cable, it feels too new, so obviously not the original plug. I don't think vacuum cleaners or any appliance came with plugs fitted back in the 40s or 30s, so there was, whoever bought this would have had to put their own plug on it as far as I understand. However, this seems like a newer plug than something that would come in the 30s or 40s, but I might be wrong. This cable feels too new. Other vacuum cleaners that I've got from the 50s and 60s, the cables are very, very different to the ones on this, so I would say that this is not the original cable, but it might be, I don't know. I'm not a professional, not that I really care. It's a cable that's going to work, hopefully. Got a bag, nice bag, very nice, I like that. And yeah, look, I don't know whether that's been patched well or if it's supposed to be like that. That might have been patched up on the front and the back. Or it might be how it's supposed to be, because it looks like it's supposed to be like that, in my opinion, but it might be a patch, it might have been ripped front and back and somebody's patched it up, I really don't know. For some reason, all old Hoovers, and when I say Hoovers I mean the brand Hoover, that I see, old ones, all the handles are like this. Don't know why that is. I'll tell you why I think it is. I think it's because everybody back in the olden days had very, very hot hands. So when they used these vacuum cleaners, their hands naturally melted the handles. That's got to be what it was. I mean, I can't see why else the handles would melt. That's very melted. So I personally think that people back then had hot hands, and that's why the handles, all the rubbers on the handles are all melted. I've come across many, many, many old Hoovers. Never seen any other brand with melted handles, just Hoovers. So maybe it's just Hoover, people that buy Hoovers. Maybe them had hot hands. I don't know. But I reckon they just had hot hands, and that's why their handles simply melted like that. But other than that, I think this is a remarkable piece of history. And you know, I'm very pleased that I managed to get it, because I wouldn't have got it if it was any more than the price of a McFlurry. So, very, very pleased. So I'm going to get rid of this towel, because otherwise it will suck it up if it does work. And I'm going to turn it on to see if it works. It's supposed to work, apparently. Before I do that, I probably should look underneath it, and I dare say you lot would want to look underneath it as well. Good job I did, really, because look, it's full of polystyrene. Cool in here as well. I dare say when I turn it on then they'll get sucked in, won't they? Oh look, it's obviously been fairly well used, because those bristles are very soft and it's covered in dirt. Beta bars. I'm sure the old Ibasiak will be enjoying this if he's watching it. He's having a break actually, Ibasiak. He's having a break from YouTube, unfortunately, for those of you that wonder where his videos are. Not quite sure why. Maybe it's all got on top of him. Poor Ibasiak. He's a good guy, Ibasiak. Very good guy. So hopefully he'll start. He said he's going to start vlogging. Hopefully he's going to start vlogging. That would be the tits. Watching what he does, just walking around, would be very good to sit back and with your dinner and watch with a glass of whiskey or whatever it is you drink, and just watch what he does on his day-to-day life, Mr. Ibasiak. That would be hilarious. He cracks me up on his videos when he does demonstrations. So when he's walking around shopping centres, I dare say that would be good, very good viewing. Well, here we go. I would like to say that this is the first time I've turned it on, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I did suspect, actually, when I got it out of the box. You may have seen me fiddle with the switch a little bit. The switch is very bad, very, very bad indeed, and it doesn't work. Luckily, it's stuck on the on position and not on the off position. But when I plugged it in and flicked the switch, flicked it on, it turned on. So I know that it does work. But just for your viewing pleasure, here we go now. We're going on. I'm going to get covered in dust again. Oh, maybe the switch does work. do seem to recall, it might have been on the iBasic or somewhere, I do recall there was, I heard or read or watched something when these switches are dodgy. Whether it was on a Hoover or not, I really can't remember. I watch so many videos and read so many things, but even though I can't read actually, that I forget what and where and who things come from. But I do recall that on something the switch was a bit dodgy, like this one is. I don't care, it's only going to go in the cupboard. But it works, which is absolutely remarkable, you know? Lovely, absolutely brilliant. I'm well pleased with this. Well pleased. So I'm probably going to clean it up a bit, maybe do a video on cleaning it up, because I wouldn't want to put it away in storage when it's dirty. I'd rather clean it up and then put it in storage for another 40 or so years when it's clean. And then when I'm 60 years old, I can get it out and say, look, grandchildren, this was made in 1940 or whenever it was made, and I've bought it in 2017 and now it's 300 years old and I've still got it. Brilliant, wonderful. Please, if you do like this, if you like any old Hoover, just give this video a like, because this kind of history deserves a like, that's for sure. Obviously the belt's come off, or we need a new belt, because I did this thing to myself. I turned it on, I just wanted to let it run to see what was going to happen, and I noticed all the bits of dust, well, dust was coming out of the bag, because obviously the filtration isn't very good on this bag, you know, dust is coming out. I thought, well, I wonder if the brush bar is going round. It's not going round. So maybe I'll fix that. But like I said, this isn't intended to be a working vacuum. It's intended to be just, I got it purely because it was super duper cheap, you know, and I wanted to preserve the history. That's the only reason I got it, because it probably would have gone in the skip otherwise, or would have gone to somebody who would have put it in the skip. So I thought, I can't let it happen. This history needs to be saved. Anyway, so yeah, I need to get a belt. But other than that, we're alright. Sweet. Proper happy now. So at least it will live for a little while longer, until I give it a clean up, fix the things I can fix. Like I said, if I can find a new one of them, I'll put it on. But if I can't find one in the next couple of weeks for little money, I'm not going to spend any money on this vacuum at all. Maybe a few quid. I'm not going to spend any major money on it. It's going to go into storage. As simple as that, in a collection. Simple as that. So yeah, brilliant.